You ever see a morbidly obese diabetic switch over to whole wheat pasta because that's healthy?
These are fried in peanut oil, not seed oils. This is healthy.
Dr. Greg here again. In previous visits, we diagnosed the Disney disease and recommended several treatment options. Sadly, the patient has refused all possible cures and the case could become terminal. The patient is showing a complete breakdown of the creative systems. The recommended course of original stories, especially from Africa, has been refused. I will write the Anansi movie myself. Bob, if you need me.
I'ma leave the door open.
Let's take a look at this death spiral. Hopefully later the autopsy will teach us something. First of all, Lucasfilm is in a tailspin that Ahsoka is not going to pull it out of. This June, Geriatric Jones 5 will hit theaters because apparently they don't have any stories from this decade to tell. Oh, I sure hope fan favorite Mutt is going to be back. I'm just kidding. This is going to be fun. It's going to be a fun action adventure without any kind of ham-fisted messages designed to appeal to modern audiences.
You stole it. Then you stole it.
And then I stole it. It's called capitalism.
It's in the summer, it might still make money, I just hope it didn't cost too much. You know what doesn't cost too much? Wait, that's not gonna make any sense. I like to do a segment called the Pro YouTube Move, where I have a funny segue to get you to hit the like button, which you should be doing, by the way. Nailed it! But today, I have a pro YouTube Move, a sponsorship. Okay, now, you know what doesn't cost too much? Today's sponsor, Business Greg, take it! Thank you. Atlas VPN was kind enough to sponsor today's video, and it really doesn't cost much. You're gonna wanna grab their limited time deal to get fast, secure VPN service for just $1.83 a month and 3 free months. Did I accept just because my cat is named Atlas and he's the absolute best? No, but it's a nice bonus. Now, honestly, I'm old enough to not really be sure what to do with a VPN. I learned something new, which you guys know I love to do. I tell you to learn new languages all the time, and what better way than to watch foreign TV? But if you can't get those foreign shows, Atlas lets you change your digital location, and the streaming services are none the wiser. Changing location is also great for getting to foreign entertainment like K-dramas or anime, because let's face it, American entertainment is kind of going downhill. That's what the whole video is about. And it's easy. Here is a recording of the first time I used this app. Boom, I'm on a VPN. I genuinely thought it was gonna be more complicated than that. Atlas doesn't log your history. It keeps companies from tracking your browsing habits, which they sell to advertisers. You can get the best deals online with a VPN. It protects you from malware and data theft. You ever see a thing with a lot of benefits and you wonder why you just didn't do it before? That's me right now with a VPN. Click the link below for the limited time deal to get the amazing price of $183 per month plus 3 free months plus a 30-day money-back guarantee. Back to you, Greg. My God, that was professional. And Indy 5 isn't all. Lucasfilm's not done yet. Doctor, what's the fix for them? I suppose if they tap the expanded universe, perhaps the Old Republic, really anything other than the 70-year period dealing with the Skywalkers and the Palpatine. Nope! We're getting more Rey. That's right, the character that didn't sell merchandise, the character you rarely see people cosplaying at cons, the character that made less money with each subsequent film. That is the opposite of what I said. We also got Mandalorian Season 3, which was a snooze fest. I already talked about that. Boba Fett was a series of Easter eggs and references that I think was supposed to have a story, just somebody forgot to put it in. Well, no, there were other people's stories, I think. All they have left really is nostalgia bait. But so does Disney proper, and they have decided the wave of the future is remakes. Some from just 7 years ago, and we're already doing live action. We got Little Mermaid, we got Peter Pan and Wendy, we got Moana, we got freaking Lilo and Stitch. Stitch is gonna look horrific. Absolute nightmare fuel. There is no way that goes well. When they aren't remaking animated classics into crappier live versions that lack the heart and imagination of the original, they are milking series dry. Like, how many Frozen movies are we gonna get?
Frozen 2? Better make it 3.
Nobody asked for that. And when Elsa has a girlfriend, the parents aren't gonna show up. Toy Story 5? Please let those toys rest in peace. Zootopia 2 is the only one with a shred of hope, and I have a high level of confidence they're gonna fumble the bag on that one as well. The only original idea they have is Wish, and I want so badly to be excited about that. We got that little teaser, and it does have that nostalgic feeling to it. And that's the thing about nostalgia. It's not just pointing to an old thing and going, hey, remember that thing? Isn't that cool? It's a feeling, and so far I'm hopeful that Wish is gonna have that feeling. Lastly, we've got Pixar hanging on by a thread, and I fear Elemental is going to sever it. It looks painfully average. It's just another what if thing had feelings, and also generational family trauma. Awesome, we have never seen that before. The theme doesn't even appear to be an undercurrent. It is the plot. Man, I love blunt stories like that. Well, that tracks. As I said, tests are showing dangerously low writer blood cell count, leading to woke fections across the body. If left untreated, these can cause bleeding and possible amputation. Interesting you should say that, because 7,000 jobs are being amputated and the company is bleeding money at an astonishing pace.
Wow! Nice segue.
I'm sorry, are you just using me for medical puns? Shh. Disney has committed to losing money, it seems, making projects that will not attract new or retain old Disney Plus customers. The service is already losing subscribers. It never made money. We talked in video 1 about how their large subscriber base isn't profitable because they make less per user than other services. What was supposed to be this giant cash generator for the company has become an albatross instead. Recently, we got the shocking news that a slew of Disney projects lost a tremendous amount of money last year. Hundreds of millions of dollars were lost on high visibility movies like Lightyear and Strange World, and even on lesser known projects like Amsterdam. For some reason, Disney is leaning really hard into support for the LGBTQ community, and it is turning parents off. It's an odd business move considering that Gallup puts that entire acronym community at just 7% of the American population. Now that market might actually be even smaller because over half of that 7% responded as bisexual, and other polls have shown that over 80% of bisexuals end up in opposite sex relationships.
I'm doing my part.
So Disney is targeting a very small portion of the country, but all that support with Disney shorts like this one called Out is turning parents away who do not want their children to see it. Now many people are going to say that's wrong, those parents are bigots and whatever. We can argue about it if you want, but it's not going to change the economics of the situation. And if Disney is going to wait around for parents across the country to suddenly become gay tolerant before D+ can be profitable, Godot is likely to show up first. Or bankruptcy. And it's not just pandering to LGBT groups. Disney, like so many other giant corporations, are trying to appeal to anti-capitalists. The situation is hilarious, and BLM is the best example. That group was formed by Marxists. It is a communist movement. There's not even debate about that. So Nike pretended to be with the communists in order to market a product to people who claim to hate capitalism. And they bought the shoes anyway. It's amazing.
I'm playing both sides so that I always come out on top.
So it can work, but it's not working for Disney. They're seeking to engender the online leftist crowd, which is very different from real life leftists. The online group also has less money. What every normal person outside of boardrooms and marketing departments seems to understand is that tweets are not legal tender. For some reason, these companies, like Disney, are using resources to reach these small fringe groups at the expense of marketing to families with money to spend. Wow, they definitely seem overweight with expenses and consuming too much to say profitable. I recommend they cut back on some of that spending diet. What are you doing? Why are you speaking like that? Earlier you had mentioned job cuts and expensive movies, and you really seemed to like dad puns, so I thought I could tee some up. Okay, I can see that was coming from a good place, and I appreciate that. I'm gonna do the jokes, you do the doctor bit, read your lines. Right, so, I'm sorry. The patient is overweight, and it's bad to be overweight. They are overweight and need to cut back. Unfortunately, they decided to cut workers instead of project expenses. In their first earnings call of the year, Bob Iger said they would be cutting 7,000 jobs to cut costs. He also said that he hoped to bringing back the dividend at some point this year. People fell for that. The divvy's not coming back, gang. They don't have any money. What they didn't seem to decide to cut back on was project expense. Lightyear cost $200 million to make. Strange World was $180 million. Where did that money go? Those movies look okay at best. By contrast, the Mario movie and Puss in Boots 2 each cost just $100 million, leaving a ton of room for profit. Disney is obviously bloated, so this 3% cut to their workforce is not inherently bad, it just depends on where the cuts are. In my experience, companies like to trim from the bottom up when it's usually the reverse that's needed. Disney is now infamous for their committee-style movie making. I was recently informed of the pre-viz process that they use to make 90% of their Marvel movies ahead of time. They're constantly screening and reshooting and retweaking their movies, and that adds cost. I don't know if they have too many employees, but they certainly seem to have an organizational problem. Everything they do is taking too long and costing too much, and that is usually a management problem. I don't remember when I got this cup, but inside of it is a latte again, but with a little bit of vanilla, and it's delicious. You know, now that I'm kind of a big deal with a sponsor and everything, I think I'm just gonna put together like an Amazon affiliate page with all of my coffee and tea accoutrements. What do you think about that, Aaron?
Sell out.
I will, thank you. The only thing that's healthy about Disney is their parks, and I'll reiterate, that is soon to change. The Galactic Spaceship Starship Cruiser, I can't remember the name, it was discounting rooms like 6 to 9 months after it opened. They can't sell $5,000 packages for a 36-hour event? Shocking! But that's just the first symptom. I don't know if you've noticed, but the prices have gone up on everything. Last year, it was reported that 20% of families visiting Disney do so by borrowing money. I mean, I've been down there, it's pricey. Couple that with the insane rise in household debt, and you have a shrinking group of customers that can afford to go or even borrow to go. As I've mentioned in the past, Disney parks really are an outstanding experience, just top notch in every way, but that takes an army of people to pull off. If Disney has to axe workers to make ends meet and hurt the service, or if they have to price the parks out of range for most American families, they are quickly going to find their sole black sector going red. Doc, how long can these parks stay healthy? Well, as you said, the numbers are not looking good internally. However, they also need to be careful not to catch... What is this? I wrote that for you. You can use it. Go ahead. They might catch a case of DeSantitis. Yes! Disney picked a fight with Governor DeSantis just as campaign season was picking up, and he is absolutely going to use them as a political punching bag to boost his numbers. People are eating up crap like this.
To the rest of you woke corporations, stay the away from our kids.
So they are going to love it when DeSantis fines Disney for excessive wokeness or whatever. The point is that Florida is going to cost them money in the long term. Ron is going to find a way to punish them somehow, some way, and they don't need that expense. I think it's a stupid move for the governor, but I also don't have any pity for Disney. The only person I pity in this entire situation is Bob Chapek. That online apology, watching him get neutered online, God, that was hard. This is definitely popcorn time, not a take side situation. So is the patient making any of the changes that you recommended? I'm afraid not. With the exception of Wish and firing Victoria Alonso, the patient seems to be digging their health into a deeper hole. Even if they changed right now, it could be years before a full recovery. As a professional, it's hard to watch, but I can only lead a horse to water. Sad but true, Iger is committed to the sequel and remake path. Kathleen Kennedy seems to be more and more in control of Lucasfilm, with some speculating that she was completely responsible for Mando Season 3 and the return of Rey. It seems we have no choice but to watch a once great and majestic company go down, and make funny videos along the way. Let me know your thoughts on Disney's future and if they can regain their health. I always appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. Did you know that Greg takes a scoop of pre-workout before filming and drinks coffee on camera? I think his heart's going to explode.